Welcome friends, Last Scarf here. Let us attempt a 10-minute vlog here. Because really, I don't know what to talk about here. I guess the first thing is Derek Chauvin. Got 22 and a half years, I think it was. This morning someone said, watch he get 9 years and 28 weeks. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, I get it. So that guy's getting 22 years. Yeah, it's a good amount of time. How old is he, like 30-something, 40-something? It's a good amount of time. People could say life, you should get life, because, you know, other people get life, why doesn't he get life? And it's just, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he'll come back an old man, and who knows? He's lost whatever prime he had left at that point, so, they got what they got, and finally a cop for doing something awful goes to jail. So ain't that something? It's very rare. Let me say it again. Finally a white cop. This episode's not about the starting of how the police unions happen, but let's talk about that really quick. So police unions were formed in, let's see, in Chicago and some of the other places where police force are just bigly known. Bigly. They were started by the white police to cover themselves. And that's something. It wasn't about, you know, like money or these other things. It was about them protecting each other so they wouldn't be held accountable. So, you know, the system's been kind of crap from the start. It's very frustrating. And it was only white cops. The black cops had to make their own union, and it took a very long time for them to build their own union. Kind of ridiculous. It really is. Since we're on the topic of police, everyone likes to forget the whole quote. The quote is, some bad apples spoil the bunch. I don't know why everyone likes to forget that second part of this famous quote, apparently. I have family who are cops. And it's not an easy job. It's not. But they should be held to a higher standard. It is police. We're looking to them to protect us. They need to be better. And it's not great when they're not. It really is not. What is there to talk about this? Okay, so, as you may have noticed lately with the channel, it's mostly just been the vlogs, and then maybe some one-shots, and then the weekly stuff. And that's just because, well, Jinx has been really busy with work. Work is a very, you know, work is work. Work takes a lot out of you. And after you do, say, like 8-10 hours of work, it's really hard to want to just work on a hobby sometimes because you're just so tired. That's just what happens. And so the channel has slowed down. But we said it was going to slow down this year, earlier. We said it would slow down as we'd worked on other projects, and other projects have been getting worked on. I've been doing the amiibo fights this year. They've been really fun, but they're going to go on the back burner some more. Of course, I've been doing a lot of indies. If you've been looking at the side channel, I've been doing a lot of indie games. I've been playing a lot of indie games. There's going to be even more indie games coming up on the side channel. And that's because I'm looking for the games that are worth recommending. The one-shots, that's what's happening there. And just playing random games as well go up on there too. The side channel has been feeding my just love of playing games and recording it. But high-quality stuff that goes on the main channel has not been happening because just, well, Jinx is just too busy to work on some things right now. Like, we have Resident Evil 8 that is eventually going to come up eventually on the main channel. We have another project with movies that are going to come on the main channel eventually as well. We're trying to find a new life balance here since Jinx work wasn't as heavy now as it was before for Jinx. While for me, I just play a lot of games. Whereas I need to honestly focus better on doing some of the special projects more than just playing games. Because just playing games is easy and fun, but if I want to do more special projects, I gotta do more focus on those special projects. And really, the big special project I need to focus on is learning Japanese. That is a big special project I need to do. I should probably focus on that better and just leave game time to stream time and just have the streams just be for fun, hang out now, instead of just making content as we work on these special projects. What is the reason why I need to learn Japanese? Because Scarf is going to buy all of the manga sets that are available. There are used sets out there. There's the Fang Kirby one, like Korokoro, I think it is. And there's like 25 books. And I found someone who's selling them. Used, of course. But a 25 set. at, let's see, 25 at about like $8 a manga. No. $6 a manga. It's a really good deal considering these mangas are like $5 each, I think, when they came out in Japan. And you got to care about shipping and all that. So it's actually a really good deal there because importing would be ridiculous if I had to do them individually. And also this guy too. Let me get it. So this manga, this is like the best hits. This is like oh crap! Suddenly I can't remember any bands like oh god, what were they? Was it like Bowie's like Changes? Isn't that his album where it was just his best hits? That's what this is right here, like the best hits album. That's what this is of this manga here. That's the one that's 25. So that 25 manga set, like this is just taken from the favorites. I'm gonna get that whole set of this guy's manga, all in Japanese. None of it's ever been translated, besides this book. And I'm gonna translate them myself. And we're going to talk about them in the podcast. And if I have too much free time on my hands, Scarf could himself just, oh, that would take too much work. I want to build my own scanner to scan these books or the other books and not have to destroy them. Because one way to do it is you destroy the spine and you do all the pages. Like you scan all the pages. And I don't want to have to do that. I could do that, but I don't want to have to do that. By the way, the cheapest version of a book scanner that doesn't destroy the spine is $8,500. The Pro version is $95,000. But you can build your own out of like cardboard or wood, so you still need like a really good camera and stuff. You can build your own though. And that's a plan in a year. In a year, I'm going to try to buy a house and I'm going to have a space to do all the hobbies. And it's going to be a place to build that scanner so that I can get all the images and scan all the images so Jinx has them available so she can put them on the YouTube version so you can look at the images as I tell you about these mangas. Because, like I said, the goal is to be the guy. And the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of stuff that is only in Japan that we do not have access to. This manga is one of them. One of many. There are like dozens of Kirby mangas out there. A bunch. And then there's other things. There's the Anytime Kirby series, which is recent. It's a picture book series for kids. They're like 12 pages long each one, and they're really just, if you're into the Kirby art, it's beautiful. And so I would love to also have those and talk about those as well, because, like, what is this? Like, it's a kid's book. Like, just talking about like how much nice this must be for kids and things like that. Really, I should already do an episode on well, we'd have to do the scans too for that. Oh, no, actually there's someone who's done the scans. Where's Kirby? Finding Kirby, the Where's Waldo book for Kirby. Someone has scans of those. I can talk about that, although I don't know how much I can talk about besides the fact just how cute it is and all the references to it. There's an episode that can be done. You can do an episode on everything, right? And here's the thing. I want the podcast to be just about everything Kirby. All the interesting things to learn about with Kirby. And also just telling you the stories of Kirby and all the different things that happen with Kirby. Because you might not necessarily have access to what I have access to. What is the point of content? What is the point of... We're going over 10 minutes, shoot. What is the point of a video? The point of a video is information and or entertainment. I've said this before. And a podcast telling you about the different mangas and just how hilarious they are and just telling you the jokes and the things that are happening. And on the YouTube version, you can see visually what the jokes are. That is something for Kirby fans right there. They don't have access to that naturally. And we can. Can't say I, obviously. Jinx is with me here. We can give you that. And that is something I want to be in the coming years, for sure. There is a big gap when it comes to Kirby, and I would love to, if this already exists, I'd love it if I could read all of these mangas right now in English, but that doesn't exist. But we can be something like that in the coming years. And so I'm hyped to do that. By the way, comment, we're also going to do that right now. Well, soon. Kirby Superstar does not have a video on it by anybody that really goes in depth on it. Goes in depth about the making of it, well, as much as you can find, about just the climate of things around it, about the game itself. It's not there. There's no video there. There's wikis and things like that with information different places. There's interviews, but it's all over the place. And I'm trying to gather all of it, so it's all in one podcast episode, or two, depending on how far this go, how long it takes to record. And then 1 or 2 YouTube videos as well. No one's doing it. It'll be us. It's exciting to fill a need. It's a need of entertainment, of course, but it's still a need. And I'd love to fill it. I like to fill things. Teehee. That's what we were in Smite. There was a time when there was no good resource to learn how to play Smite. We were one of those things. We were one of the ones that helped you understand how to play Smite, and I still stand by how good those videos were. Because I taught strong fundamentals. I'm still proud of those. To an extent, those can still be used. Well, it comes to the mindset stuff, not really the, you obviously, if a god's been remade, that doesn't apply anymore. When it comes to the fundamental mindset of how to play a character, as long as that hasn't changed, it's still useful. And that's what I went for. I didn't go for, here's your build that's not going to be relevant in a couple months because they're going to patch something, which will change the items and things like that. No, it was, here's fundamentally what you should understand. And so this is a niche I can fill with Kirby. Here are stories you don't have normal access to, and let me tell you about them. And that's a fun thing. Let me tell you about something you don't know, so you get to know and then be happy you know about it. Kirby fans are very sweet kids. They really are. And they're kids of all ages. 20, 30, 10, teens. They're all over the place. They have different ages, but they're all kids at heart. And the excitement you see on them is something special. So doing something like this, I'm happy to do it. And I can't wait to do it. We're far from there, but I am happy and excited for it. So let's do a quick why, since we've been doing all these whys. Why is Scarf passionate? Why do I have passion? Why do I care about things? Why do I care about conveying information to others? Because I love knowledge, I think is the why on that. Why am I passionate for information share? Because I love knowledge. I love knowing things. I love when people get to know things. I love when I'm the one who helps people know things. This, of course, is, nothing world-changing or anything, but it can be mood-changing. Learning that Masahiro Sakurai is like the second or third voice for Kirby, depending on whether or not it was a person, which I assume it was, who did mic number 2 for Kirby, because mic number 1 is that screechy sound. So Kirby has one voice before Sakurai, and I cannot find who that voice is. The one that goes, yeah, in for mic 2. Well, Sakurai this is all very, if you don't know Kirby, it's esoteric information. But in Kirby Superstar, when Kirby uses the mic ability, the third one is him yelling out, Chesto. That is Masahiro Sakurai saying it in the recording studio, and I assume at HAL Labs, and he said it, the window was open, and everyone turned around and looked at him. Outside, and just in the office, everything. Everyone's just like, what the fuck? They looked at him, because he just yelled it out. And you also learned that, it was like, well, it was just coworkers and strangers? Like, no, it was people in the fields. Like, HAL Labs was near, like, farms. It was interesting to learn that from just him explaining about this whole thing. That's just a random fact to learn, is HAL Labs used to just be, some building, or in some building, just near some workers' fields. And he yelled Chesto. Another interesting fact to learn for a Kirby fan to know if you did not know this, there was going to be a 7th game for Kirby Superstar. And it was going to be a horror action puzzle game. That sounds like a bunch of crazy things right there, right? It was going to be a game where Kirby gets trapped in a mansion and he was cursed, where his mouth is sealed. So he can't use his abilities. It's like, that's a trip! So Kirby had to use items and things like that. It's like, that is such a wild thing. It's such a different thing. Those are just interesting facts to hear. Just about like anything, like any celebrity you're into, or any inventor, or any sports person, or just any educator or president or whatever. Learning interesting facts about people is always fun and interesting to hear. Learning interesting facts about countries or about just the science of things. Information is just anything. Gaining any information is always so interesting. And so, why am I passionate? I am passionate about information because you just get to learn more, and the more you learn, the more you gain, the more you just become more something. That's a little nebulous what I'm saying. Essentially, education is important. And education can come in many different forms. Going back to Smite, I educated in just how to be better at a game. Because if you're better at a game, you're going to have more fun at the game. And enjoyment is important to me. That's another passion. Passion of enjoyment. When I was in college, I was very passionate about just whatever things. And I would just talk at length about these things. To the point that people would tell me, you'd be really good in advertising. Many times I was told that in college. No interest in advertising, though. Because when I get going, I get going. It can be very fun. You can say many things of the self for what you're passionate about, after all. Because you can also add to this just, well, I'm passionate about sharing information, passionate about all those things, because I'm a caring person as well. And that leads into all the, like, why do I care about people? And that leads to further back to this and to that and all those other things. I'm passionate because there's a lot inside me. And I'd like for it to get out. I'd like for it to come out. And to share. I'm passionate because I'm such a quiet person. And so when I find a reason not to be quiet, so much pours out. It's all bottled up, so it just comes out and explodes out. And I can just go and go and go at length about whatever subject I'm really into. Long-suffering Jinx has dealt with that many times. That's a very hard one to tackle. Just why did I bring up, like, why am I passionate? Why is anyone passionate about anything? Why am I passionate? Why am I a passionate person? So I'm trying to understand that as I'm saying these things, right? To a sense, I am passionate because I am passionate. That's it. That's just a thing I have. Not everyone is passionate, honestly. There are people who don't get fired up about things ever. Or if they do, it's you'll never know it kind of thing, I suppose. But I don't know. I've met very boring people in my life. People who they just don't have a passion, and it's so weird. Freaks me out. There's nothing that they really get fired up about. Or there's people who are just everything fires them up, and then it's just a mess. Just a freaking mess with that. So I guess the easier way to put it is, why am I passionate about this or that is probably a better way to put it. I don't know why my passion is also just a better way to go general. But when you try to tackle something so big, look, I like how I'm exploring why I'm asking this question. We try to tackle something so big, then try to break it down. It's not easy to break it down sometimes. I'm passionate because I am, because there are things that get me going. There are things that make me want to express how great they are or how important they are to know about. Or how fun they are. But of course you gotta know your audience as well. Like, I'm not gonna talk to a baseball guy and talk to him how much I love Kirby. I ain't gonna do jack. You gotta find some ground where it's worth talking about. I remember... Oh god, I remember this. I gotta tell this and then we're done. In college, the first time I met this girl, really nice girl, hope she's doing well. I met this girl, we just met, and then for some reason we were talking, because this is college, like people just talk to each other, strangers talk to strangers. And I was expressing, I don't remember, because she was she was one of the neighboring dorms, and I was just trying to get to know random people, because back in the day I talked to strangers. And this one was receptive, so I was just telling her, just talking about whatever, we're just shooting the crap. And then I told her about the series of songs that really got me going. And that was these songs, so esoteric, songs by a band called Iced Earth. This is 2000 something. Iced Earth just came out with some CD. Forget what it's called. I think it was The Great Sacrifice, something like that. It was just about America and all of our wars. Honestly, it's very wanky about American history, honestly, and about how great we are in our war fighting and all our sacrifices we've made. And I went at length about the last 3 songs of this CD, which was about the Civil War at the Battle of Gettysburg. And I just was going at length about how cool it was, how you have all these different instruments from one side, and then you have the instruments of this other side, and they're competing with each other. I just kept going and going and going, and I was hyping up a 30-minute song, 30-minute 3 songs that are 30 minutes all together, so much that she's like, okay, I gotta hear the songs. And I remember I was just so hype about it. And then I did the same thing with Three Kingdoms, because I was big into Dynasty Warriors, and I was reading about the actual Three Kingdoms, and I was talking to some girl, what I was actually trying to get with. Like a year later, the girl I was trying to get with, talking about just Three Kingdoms and Dynasty Warriors, but like the actual history and all that stuff, and getting really into it and talking about it and everything. For like 3 hours, I really got into talking about it, and she just sat there and listened and asked questions, and thank you to her for just being that patient and everything. And she's like, wow, you're really passionate about things. Scarf is actually a good listener, but apparently Scarf also talks at length about things that girls aren't interested in, probably. But when I've got the spot, I can go. When I've got the gear, I can go. All right, that's enough. We're going long. There's a lot of these pauses because I'm thinking all that. I wonder how long this will actually be after it. But it's already past 20. So again, I lied, saying we're gonna make it 10 minutes. I'm so bad at that. That's it. That's the vlog. Why am I passionate? Who knows the next one will be? There's like other negative emotions I could explore, but I just got into this, so go with what you feel. Go with the spirit of what you feel. So that is the vlog. I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.